Hi guys, my name is Amanda Vassell and I'm going to be talking to you about my new single, Wolves in Sheep's Clothing. So basically it is based off a testimony of mine of when I first became a Christian. You know how it is, how the devil works. You become a Christian and then suddenly every guy likes you. You get every opportunity that's going to take you away from God. You have got to listen to this whole story. It was a weekend and everyone decided to invite me out to this rave or whatever. So, you know, naive, new convert, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna go, but I'm not gonna drink, I'm not gonna do anything that is, you know, I'm not gonna lust, I'm just gonna sit down and chill with my friends. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what I was saying to myself. So I've gone to the rave now. Whilst I was there, I met this guy, and this is how the devil works. The guy was, at the time, he was my exact type, like obviously outwardly. So he's come over to me now and he's talking to me, and me being so naive, I'm talking to him, we're just having conversation, getting on whatever, and then he's asking me for my number, and I'm like, you know what, I'm a Christian, I don't do nothing, I don't believe in sex outside of marriage, blah da da da, go to church, so I'm giving it the whole whatever. And he's like, that's cool, you know, I want to go to church too or whatever. I can't remember if he wants to go to church or goes to church, but anyway, I ended up giving him my number and we became friends, and he used to come out with my friends, you know, like we'd go to Hyde Park, like just a group of us and stuff, like we became like good friends and stuff. And obviously feelings started to grow, and all this time I'd be inviting him out to church, and I'm like, yeah, you gotta come church, blah da da da, you know. And he's like, yeah, I really want to come on. Every time there's an excuse. So a time came and he wanted to take me out. Feelings had grown, I was feeling him, but God challenged me and said, no, you can't go. I was like, what? I really like this guy, like, he's the one for me. God was like, no. And deep down I knew that if I went, that it'd probably take me further away from God. And so I decided to be obedient. But the only way, I was praying on my knees in my room. I was on my knees praying, God, please, you have to give me the strength to do this, because this is really hard for me right now. So I remember the only way I saw that I could do it was to ghost him. So I literally locked off my phone and I got a new number. Fast forward a year after I ghosted him, okay? So, you know, feelings had gone, whatever. It had moved on, you know, not moved on, but I was in Christ now, living for God, blah da da da. So I'd found my old chip, right? And I put it in my phone, yeah? Literally the same, it was a day. I had it in the phone for a day. This guy rings me. He rings me and he's like, and I was so shocked. I picked up the phone and I was like, hi. He's like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, what are you sorry for? You haven't done anything. And he's like, no, really, honestly, when I met you that time, it's like I had no intention of coming to church. I was just trying to lead you on because, you know, I was trying to get into bed, and I was just trying to, he just started confessing. And then God showed me he was a plan of the enemy to take you away from me. Wolves in sheep's clothing. I was like, no way. Like, the man was fully confessing to me. He had no intention to come to church. It was literally a strategy devised by the enemy to try and pull me away from God. And God showed me this. I couldn't believe it. A whole year had passed, and the minute I turn my phone on, this guy calls me and starts confessing the truth. And you know what? I don't even blame him because he's not in Christ, but the devil was using him to take me away from God. And I was like, nah, wolves in sheep's clothing. And ladies, this is a testimony to you, man. Wolves in sheep's clothing. You have to pray, stay prayed up. You gotta keep praying, man, because these guys are about. This guy was fully intended to take me out of God, to take me away from God. So ladies, if you're out there and You know, there's a guy and he is not living for God. Let go. Do you know what I mean? Even if a guy is living for God, you have to make sure that God is leading you down that path, because there are wolves in sheep's clothing out there just wanting to take you away from the will of God for your life. Do you know what I mean? And that could set you back a few years. Wait patiently. God has got that person for you. Do you know what I mean? But seriously, the confession was deep. So that is where the song Wolves in Sheep's Clothing comes from. And if I was disobedient that day and I went to meet that guy, honestly, it might have been over for me. Do you know what I mean? Well, you know, it might not have been over, but it was just a plan of the enemy that God showed me, and I was just, wow. Amazing. Anyway, Wolves in Sheep's Clothing is coming out in a couple of weeks. Get it, listen to the words. Yeah, I've placed a snippet, but you have to listen to the whole song to get the fullness. Stream it, share it. It's a testimony, it's an encouragement to ladies. You know, Wolves in Sheep's Clothing, out soon. Go and get it, pre-save it, whatever you need to do, listen to it. God bless you.
What big teeth you have? You're looking kinda fluffy, but you're feeling kinda bad. Jesus died for me, but he didn't die for that. Wolves in sheep clothing, you're moving slight like that.